Okay, Ben Johnson just did an interview and he was asked why he decided to come back. And he gave a few reasons. Dan Campbell, the the staff that he has on the offensive side of the ball, the players, it all is just it's too good to be true. He said it's year 4 for him here in this building. He believes in Sheila, believes in Dan, believes in Brad. All the things are going well. But the one thing that really stuck out to me was he said, and I have up here on the screen our last few playoff appearances and what it's looked like. And that's what he referenced. He went and said that in COVID or right before COVID or like his first year, whatever, he went to a Garth Brooks concert at Ford Field. Lights were off, things were, you know, fans were going nuts. It was packed. And he said, this is what a home playoff game would be like here at Ford Field. And he said that's always been in the back of his mind. Always been in the back of his mind. He said one other thing too about the playoff game. Before we get to that, though, I want to go back to 91. Remember, we beat the Dallas Cowboys. Barry Sanders has that epic run, kill them 38-6. That we then go to Washington and lose. But then you look at, man, we the next 93 and 94 heartbreakers to Green Bay, 4-point losses each time. Just absolutely brutal. Then we go to Philadelphia in 95 and lose. The Tampa Bay game in 97 was just, oh man, a tough one. And look at all these. And the key, I think, to all these is look at they're all road games. The first game on the road, you're playing a good team, a divisional winner, like the Seattle game in 17. We had no chance in that game. Remember? And I mean, that Seattle game, it's brutal. The Saints. Look at these. Look, I mean, same thing there in 2012. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You can't even. Those are the two hardest places you could possibly be playing. They're not going to win that. And then the Dallas game, they just took from us, just on a bad call. I mean, it's just it's so hard to win in the playoffs on the road unless you're like good. I mean, seriously, you got to be you've seen these teams, the Giants a few years ago where they snuck in, but they were good, right? And they went on the road and won a bunch of road games. Like, I felt like this was not real. These 2012, 15 and 17, we were good, but we were missing some grit. I hate to say that, but it's like that's actually what we were missing. We're like missing that toughness. And you go on the road to these tough teams, there's no way. So Ben Johnson talking about the offensive staff continuity that he has, the personnel, that jump that they're going to make from year 1 to year 2. Remember, this is Ben Johnson's first year playing or being offensive coordinator. So he's like, man, we're going to make that jump. He's like, but one of the reasons was in the back of my mind. I keep thinking about that home playoff game at Ford Field and what that would be like. And can you imagine? I mean, really, you turn up the dial there to level 10. I was at the 2011 Monday Night Football game against the Bears, the first Monday Night Football game we've had in a long time. Let me know if you were there. Let me know if you have been like kind of the loudest crowd scene that you've been at Ford Field. For me, it was that Chicago Bears game. I mean, there was no chance. You couldn't remember they had a million false start penalties to start the game that you couldn't hear. Nobody didn't even know. I didn't even know what we were yelling about. Everyone's cheering, going crazy. We've had those games. And I remember kind of at the end of the Caldwell era, we had those. Crowd is like ready to explode, and we give up some, a 95-yard pass to the Steelers. Remember that? Like, jeez. We give up the Falcons just did something to us weird. We had those weird losses, so many weird losses in the Caldwell era when the fans were ready to explode, ready to go, get that playoff game, get that home playoff game, and we couldn't do it. So we have not had a home playoff game in forever, and that is what it would take to win a playoff game. And Dan Campbell said at the end of the Green Bay game, he said, all roads lead through Detroit now, or that's the idea, which I love the way you put that because it's like, I'm not guaranteeing anything. That would be the idea. We have to win enough games to win the division. And that's kind of what we all go back to. And the excitement in next year is we've got all these things working for us. And, oh, by the way, NFC is not a powerhouse. You look at the AFC, you got Chiefs, Bills, you just go down the list of all these great quarterbacks and what the AFC has. In the NFC, you have the Eagles. Then after that, kind of wide open. Then you more specifically look at the NFC North. Packers, who knows what they are? Even if Aaron Rodgers comes back, we just beat them twice. He's just more problems than good now for the Packers. The Bears, they're not there yet. They're not there yet. And Justin Fields, I'm still not sure about him. I'm not sure what he could be. I think at the end of the day, you have to be able to throw the ball. He hasn't yet. That's okay. Maybe he will, whatever. But they're not there yet. And then the Vikings. Vikings are always just going to be good. Not great, not terrible. They're just good, just a good team that we're going to have to contend with. And so if we can go in there, get a victory at their place or just hold serve at our place, whatever, go 5-1 in the division again, all we have to do is win our division. And I say it like all we have to do. Well, that's going to be tough because it's never easy, but take care of what we can take care of, win the division. And then the next thing you know, we have a home playoff game that we will not lose. There's no way that anyone is going to come in here and beat the Lions at home, first home playoff game in 30 years or whatever. There's just no way. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know the loudest game that you've ever been to at Ford Field. Would love to hear it. Mine was the Monday Night Football game, 2011. The Lions were 6-0 or so. I mean, it was really didn't win the division that year though. Aaron Rodgers came into Ford Field and won, but that was my biggest, loudest game. And then let's look at this real quick here. I just want to look back into the 80s. So you're only into the playoffs twice in the 80s. At San Fran, at Washington, at Dallas. I mean, you start in that. The only home playoff game we had, Silverdome, Dallas, kill them. And the rest, it's away. And it's so hard. So, yeah, you look all the way back. I mean, the 50s, 60s never made the playoffs in the 60s, made the playoffs once, early 70s. So then went on a 12-year drought, then go play Washington, get killed, 82, 83. Then again, another kind of 10-year drought. Then you're in there in the 90s. I mean, we were a little spoiled in the 90s. I mean, really, look at that, 91, 93, 94. We get Barry Sanders. We're in the playoffs. We're in the mix. Then we go another 10-year drought here. Then 11, 14, 16. So it's time. It's somewhat cyclical, but it's also like we have actually the pieces. We have what we need to get back into the playoffs, sustainable. But we all can kind of see the pattern. You have to have a home playoff game in order to break this drought, get going, get moving. I will love to get into the playoffs no matter what next year. Don't get me wrong. But there's no reason why we can't win the division. The division's wide open. Nobody scares me in the division. So that is why I see the Lions getting in the division or getting in the playoffs and winning. And that's why Ben Johnson wants to come back. If we were going to be terrible, I don't think he's like, yeah, you know what? I'll come back. They're going to be terrible. And I don't like anything here. No, he loves it. Loves what's going to happen in year 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We'll see all of you on the next one.